shows Alex Trebek with 3 contestants standing behind podiums. Trebek. Hello, I'm Alex Trebek, and welcome to No Longer in Mortal Jeopardy, because you're dead. We have 3 contestants. Harriet Tubman, shows Harriet Tubman, who smiles and nods. Trebek. Martin Luther King Jr., shows King, who waves and smiles. Trebek. And Richard Pryor, shows Pryor, who looks around suspiciously and says, "Now what the hell is going on?" Trebek. What do you mean by that? Pryor looks towards Tubman and King and says, "So what is this? Jeopardy Black Edition or something? Is this a sting operation or something like that? That stuff in the dressing room was there when I got there." Trebek. No, Mr. Pryor, we just happen to have 3 African-American contestants. No Black Edition, no sting operation. Just some good old-fashioned Jeopardy. Cuts to Chris Farley, John Belushi, Jan Hooks, Phil Hartman, and Denitra Vance as writers sitting around a writer's room table. Vance. So what'd you all think? Not a bad premise, right? Farley. Why didn't you write in any white contestants? Are you racist? Vance. No, I just decided why not. 3 black contestants. Belushi. I almost think having 3 black contestants is racist. Hooks. How so? Belushi. I don't know, everyone's gonna think it's a gag or something. Like we're making fun of black people or something like that. Vance. How are you making fun of black people by having 3 black contestants on Jeopardy? Belushi. I don't know. Hartman. Here, I have an idea. How about we make it 2 white people and 1 black person? Vance. That's almost how it always is. What's wrong with 3 black contestants? Hartman. Okay, fine. 2 black contestants. Oh, God. Am I racist? I'm racist, aren't I? Cuts to Michael O'Donoghue, Harold Ramis, Tom Davis, Norm Macdonald, and Gilda Radner as writers sitting around a writer's room table. Radner. So what do you guys think? A sketch about writers writing a Jeopardy sketch. Davis. I don't get it. Ramis. Aren't we currently, technically ourselves, a sketch within a sketch? McDonald. No, by Jiminy Cricket, no. We are a show within a show, and we're performing a sketch about sketch writers writing a sketch about sketch writers writing a sketch. Davis. Pass. Radner. Well, then what are we going to do for the cold open of Saturday Not Alive? O'Donoghue. Whatever. Me and John can just do Wolverines again. Radner. Okay. Or maybe instead, Dead from the Earth, We're Not Alive. It's Saturday Not Alive, starring John Belushi, Chris Farley, Phil Hartman, Jan Hooks, Norm Macdonald, Gilda Radner, Denitra Vance, with many more deceased contributors, musical guest, Billy Preston, and your host, George Carlin. Everybody, George Carlin. Applause, applause, applause. Carlin. Thank you. Thanks for being such a dead audience. I really appreciate it. You know, the afterlife's not so bad. It has its advantages and disadvantages. You can't die anymore, but you can't live either. You don't get hungry, but you never feel full. You can't get fucked over, but you can't fuck either. You have all the time in the world, but nothing to do. When we were living, you could tell how old someone was generally by looking at them. But now, we just know what someone looked like when they died. Have you ever gone up to an old lady and asked for directions, and she screamed at you that she's only been dead for 10 minutes? And then the next thing you know, a little kid comes up to you and says, "For thousands of years, the faithless section of the afterlife is left at the pearly gates, and then 3 flights up once you pass Hades." I feel bad for the newbies who no longer have a phone. They just stand there and look at their empty hand for days. They call for Siri and no one responds. And then you know one of those greatest generation know-it-alls will come up to them and say, "Didn't you hear me? I've been yelling at you from up here for over 15 years to put that phone away. There's no service when you die." And then some pilgrim will come up to the greatest generationer and say, "Didn't you hear me tell you the last 15 years that they can't fucking hear you?" Any of you ever run into Jesus up here? Applause, applause, applause. Carlin. I have too. I was over at his place. He asked me what I wanted to drink. I said water. The bastard spiked it with wine. Some people don't like it when you call Jesus a bastard. I didn't see God put a ring on Mary, and I don't think God even paid any child support. Maybe growing up without any money is why Jesus flipped out in the Temple of Jerusalem. Now, for those who don't know, some enterprising Jewish people during Passover brought in livestock and money changers and basically had a mini little Wall Street in the temple. So these people are just trying to make a living, and Jesus, Mr. Perfect, drove everyone out of the temple, poured out all the money changers' money, overthrew tables, and yelled that the temple was a house of prayer, not a den of thieves. So Mr. Perfect, the incarnate, without any evidence, just assumes that Jewish people making business transactions were thieves. Thieves! To assume that there were thefts as opposed to honest transactions is unfounded and without evidence. If you ask me, by calling them thieves, Jesus was using misinformation. Anyway, we have a great show tonight. I hosted the first ever episode of Saturday Night Live back in 1975 with Billy Preston as musical guest, and he's here tonight. So stick around if you want to be with me. We'll be right back.